Right here, down. Protect your out. We put the work in. Let's finish. Let's do this. Family, I'll do 1, 2, 3.
You see, we dream chase, cause that's all we was given to start with. Then we realized the dream was obtainable. Now look at us.
What's going on, Eagles Nation? This is the Main Thing Podcast presents, and I'm your man, Big Huss, the one you trust, bringing you all your Philadelphia Eagles latest. First off, welcome back to the channel, okay? Today we're breaking down everything you need to know ahead of your Week 3 showdown against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, from injury updates to strategic moves, and even how the team is preparing for the extreme heat they'll be facing. Man, we've got it all covered, so let's dive in. But before we do that, please make sure that you're liking, commenting, and you're subscribed to the channel so you don't miss what me and Mr. Owens hit you on the head with this new news. So let's first start with some injury updates and player updates. Notably, cornerback Adoree Jackson, he's listed as doubtful for Sunday's game due to a groin injury. So no Adoree means CB2 position is wide open, and it's next man up, Kelee Ringo, you're up. And look, this is a big opportunity for Kelee Ringo. He'll be going against Chris Godwin, who is a quality receiver in his own right. He'll be coming back. This will be his first game this season, coming back off of injury. So it'll be a good test for Kelee Ringo. Yeah, I mean, see where his confidence level was at. You know, he was talking good during the week, talking about he's been preparing like a starter, preparing for this opportunity. So it's time to walk that walk. You know what I'm saying? Also, meanwhile, Zach Bond, Jahad Campbell, and even Tanner McKee practiced earlier in the week. We're all moving up to full participants as the week went on. McKee is continuing to recover from a fractured thumb he suffered in training camp. Over the last couple of weeks, he's been the emergency quarterback with Sam Howell at the number 2. Now there's a potential shift where Tanner McKee will be moving up to QB2, and we'll be sending Sam Howell down to the emergency quarterback position. So it's good to get our all-pro backup quarterback, back in the fold. He has a lot to give, and in a game where players get hurt left and right, as we see, you need a quality QB2, especially with this offense. You don't want to become stagnant. Another sighting that we saw this week, running back Will Shipley. He's set to return for the first time since week 1 after injuring his oblique. He's expected to resume his role as RB2, which is a plus. Will Shipley was doing his thing prior to getting hurt, offers a lot of special teams reps as well. This is a boost for the Eagles offense, giving them more versatility out the backfield between Saquon, Will Shipley, and A.J. Dillon. I'm really liking this this backfield and what it has to give. Like I said, a lot of versatility. These backs can all do a lot of the same things, but also do a lot of different things, which is good when you're talking about a defense having a scheme of offense. You don't want everybody doing the same things. It makes it easy for the defense. Now, some players on injured reserve. You have Nolan Smith, who's dealing with that tricep, Jacorian Bennett, who's dealing with a shoulder, and a chest, pectoral, and there's Cooper, who's dealing with a shoulder. All were expected to return later this season. They all have to be out a minimum of 4 weeks. Benner later revealed that he was playing through a pec injury since week 1, and he retweaked it during this LA Rams game when he went for a block that helps basically spring Jordan Davis for that long touchdown run to really put a stamp on that week 3 victory. You feel me? So these players will all be out at least 4 weeks. So I'm wishing them all a speedy recovery. We need them all back into the fold. Every man on this 50-man, 3-man roster is a key contributor. So you want to be at your strongest. Now, a little bit of game day strategy or game strategy. The Eagles are traveling a little early to acclimate to the weather. Look, they traveled a day earlier, being that they would usually travel to Tampa on a Saturday. They decided to come out on a Friday to give players extra time to acclimate to the sweltering heat and humidity down in Tampa. The forecast shows that it'll feel like around 104 degrees on game day, which is intense. That is extremely hot, especially talking about you're down there on that rubber field. If If it's 104 in the stadium, on the field, it's probably going to feel like 114, ladies and gentlemen. It gets extremely hot down there on the field, and you have on all the equipment and everything else. So they're trying to get down there a little bit earlier and allow these players to adjust as best they can. Coach Nick Sirianni believes arriving early gives his players' bodies a chance to adjust, potentially reducing fatigue and the risk of late game cramping. The team has also been using saunas and extra hydration practices to help it with the extreme heat, which is all well and dandy. Because you want to give your team any advantage that you feel that you can give them. I mean, especially in conditions that they're not really used to playing in. Now, Baker Mayfield voiced his skepticism about this, saying the effectiveness of the strategy starting one day may not be enough to truly acclimate, and that it might cause more focus on the heat rather than the actual game plan. And in some aspects, I kind of agree with him. Even Coach Vic Fangio kind of touched on this. Going down a day early, 2 days early, isn't going to really give your body enough time to adjust to that type heat. You got to be down there for some time. Like I said, it sounds good in theory, but in actuality, as far as I'm concerned, it's more of, yes, take care of your body, do everything you can to stay hydrated and everything, but it's more a mental thing. This is a game where mentally, the Eagles players are going to have to thug it out. It's not going to be comfortable. We went down there last year to Tampa. The heat got the best of us. Players were cramping left and right. You saw players just fatigued. We just weren't prepared. It's a mental thing. You got to do everything you can throughout the week and up to this point to prepare you for something like that. I don't believe that going down a day or so early is really going to give you that advantage come game day. But, hey, if it works, I pray it does work. More power to them. But we'll see. Now, the Eagles are aware, like I said, of the past struggles in Tampa, especially the hot conditions. They hold a 1-4 record against the Buccaneers under Sirianni. So, for whatever the reason, the Buccaneers and Todd Bowles seem to have Jalen Hurts and Nick Sirianni's number, but hopefully we can change that around this go around. You know what I mean? A little bit more prepared, like I said, physically, mentally, putting everybody in the right position to just win. Win. Okay? That's all we're focused on. Now, heading into Sunday, watch for Baker Mayfield and the Buccaneers offensive line led by Tristan Wirfs, who's listed as questionable with the injury. If Wirfs can't go, that could be a huge boost for this Eagles pass rush, especially with us now being without Nolan Smith, meaning that some of these backup edge players are going to have to step up, and Azeez or Jalari or Ogba or Zadarius Smith. Somebody's going to have to fill that void, and I'm really curious to see who it is. Man, look out for Jalen Carter, who is now 100% after being a full participant all week. His presence on the D line is, oh my God, paramount to an Eagles victory, and just the disruption that he causes in the middle and the attention that he gains from the opposing team's offensive line and offensive coordinator in general. He's disruptive, y'all. He's a playmaker, hands down. We know this, so we need him to be 100%. He had been kind of dealing with a nagging shoulder injury, and you can kind of see it in this play. Now, another thing that you have to think about or kind of put in the air is Jalen Carter's conditioning. Vic Fangio mentioned that he wanted Jalen Carter to get in better conditioning or better shape. I believe that was last week or the week prior. In this sweltering heat, if you're not in shape, if you're not hydrated, if you haven't taken care of your body and done everything you can up to this point, trust me, ladies and gentlemen, it will show. I full-blown expect for the Buccaneers to try to tire the Eagles defense out as much as they can. They want them gas, because that's what really got us last year. So hopefully Jalen Carter's conditioning is better. We can just see a dominant Jalen Carter from start to finish. Like I said, we know what he is, man. Phenom guy, phenom player, just him, a generational talent. Now, to wrap up, the Eagles are heading into an important NFC matchup, strategically preparing for an extreme Tampa heat, humidity. Injuries are managed well with some key players set to return or step up. Notably, I have my eye on Kelee Ringo in this game. I want to see, you know what I mean? Has he turned that corner? I want to see a confident Kelee Ringo. You know what I mean? Not a Kelee Ringo just going through the motions. So hopefully you get a stellar Kelee Ringo. He's learned something from sitting down these past few years and the past couple games. The team's early travel and acclimation to the practices shows their commitment to winning in the changing conditions. We already know, man. Look, at the end of the day, stats don't matter to the Eagles. Don't get me wrong. Players want good stats, but stats don't matter. The biggest stat or the biggest thing they're focused on is winning, and that's from top to bottom. I have to say that, and I love that about my organization. We don't get caught up in what the media has to say. We don't get caught up in all the highlights and all the glory. If we're not winning, then it's all for naught. So make sure you stay tuned for our game day predictions, our deep dive into player matchups later this week with Mr. Owens. We're expecting that video. Stay safe. Stay blessed. This is the Main Thing Podcast, and I go by Big Hus. Until next time, hey, it's fly, Eagles fly till we die, baby. Y'all know the vibes.
It was I was gonna make a lot of money doing what I wanted to do. I went after it, and it was a struggle to achieve it. But you know what? I caught that bitch. Dream chasing.